Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into today's topic with you. We're going to unpack something incredibly ambitious, the ennioscopic atom theory. Our main focus today is combining all three versions of this fascinating framework into one single coherent journey. By looking at it this way, we get to see the full evolution of a theory that attempts to seamlessly connect the incredibly large with the unimaginably small. So let's just jump right in.
I want you to start by pondering this kind of mind-bending hook. What if the entire solar system is literally just a giant atom? That single question is what kicks off this whole evolutionary, almost Russian doll kind of journey through our source material. As we piece together the three versions, you'll see exactly how this initial premise explodes into a massive mathematical framework.
So, here's our roadmap. We're covering the macroscopic hydrogen atom, the three constants that rule everything, topology and the Mobius flip, scaling to the cosmos, knots and math, and finally, a unified topological universe.
Uniting these three versions basically gives us a progressive detective story. Step 1 sets up the initial premise of geometric orbits. Step 2 dives deeper into topological laws. And Step 3, well, that brings the whole shebang together into ultimate mathematical unification. Let's see how this builds, starting with Step 1.
The macroscopic hydrogen atom.
In version 1.0, the core claim is that planetary orbits aren't random. They are geometrically quantized, structured exactly like an electron orbiting in a hydrogen atom. The specific formula derived from Clifford algebra serves as the geometric foundation here. It actually uses a Rydberg-like base term, which, is normally used for atomic energy levels, to calculate the orbits of entire planets.
And the results the source material claims here are honestly astonishing. By applying this one single mathematical formula, the theory achieves a staggering 99.2% average accuracy across all 9 major planets. I mean, it predicts Earth's orbit with basically 100% accuracy and Neptune's with 99.97%. That is a massive alignment between theoretical geometry and real-world observation. Section 2. Three constants rule everything.
Before we scale this up or down, we need a conceptual anchor. The theory argues that these three specific numbers dictate pretty much everything across all three versions. We've got the icosahedral deficit residue at roughly 0.3946, the Clifford constant at 15.654, and the famous golden ratio at 1.6180. These numbers act as the foundational code governing absolutely everything, from the atomic right up to the cosmic scale.
Section 3. Topology and the Mobius flip.
Now, to understand why the planets obey these precise mathematical orbits, we have to shift over to the topology of space itself. Let's break down the jargon for a second. Mobius topology refers to a geometric property where a structure has only one continuous surface and one edge. Think of a Mobius strip. Version 2.0 uses this to argue that certain physical anomalies in our solar system aren't just random flukes. They're actually mathematical necessities driven by a phase reversal or a flip at very specific points.
And here is where it gets wild. The theory predicts a Mobius flip precisely at the 6th quantum shell. This mathematical flip demands a geometric phase reversal. Amazingly, this perfectly matches the strange, almost sideways 97.77-degree axial tilt of Uranus. It predicts that tilt with 99.5% accuracy based purely on topological math.
To lock all this into place, the theory introduces the Chern-Simons level, represented by the letter K. This is a topological quantum winding number that absolutely must be a whole integer. It essentially acts as the underlying mechanism locking planetary orbits into stable shells. So planets don't just drift off into space, because their orbits are secured by these exact integer winding numbers.
Section 4. Scaling to the cosmos.
Okay, prepare for a massive zoom out, literally to the very edge of the known universe. Contrast these two extreme claims from the source. On the microscale, it claims the electron is essentially a tiny subatomic Mobius torus. But on the macro scale, it claims the great attractor, that massive gravitational anomaly millions of light years away, represents one full topological cycle of the entire universe. It is the exact same algebra applied to both the unimaginably small and the incomprehensibly large.
250 million. We're talking 250 million light years, which is the predicted scale of the great attractor in this framework. The theory calculates this immense distance because it uniquely corresponds to a full Chern-Simons cycle at level 16, and that beautifully matches the dimensions of the underlying Clifford algebra we just talked about. Section 5. Knots, Particles, and Math.
Now we transition to version 3.0, zooming all the way back down into the quantum realm. By utilizing knot theory, the framework mathematically derives the masses of fundamental particles. It treats the proton as a trefoil knot and predicts its mass with a jaw-dropping 99.6% accuracy compared to observed data. It even predicts the incredibly heavy W boson as a double Mobius structure. Seeing pure topology dictate physical mass this accurately is just fascinating.
And this perfectly illustrates how deep the math goes. The theory highlights a beautiful connection to the famous Riemann zeta function. The mathematical regularization, where zeta of -1 equals -1/12, directly yields that critical Chern-Simons level of k equals 12, which we saw acting as the Mobius flip earlier. It goes to show how purely abstract mathematics seamlessly locks into the physical structure of this theory.
Section 6. A unified topological universe.
So, this brings our narrative arcs together, wrapping all these Russian doll layers into a single, unified concept. Ultimately, the theory views the universe itself as a giant Z2 topological insulator. In condensed matter physics, that's a state of matter with an insulating bulk and conducting edges. In this grand framework, it's proposed as the 12-dimensional structure of the universe, where things like dark energy and massless particles are just natural, unavoidable features of its geometry.
The final predictive victories claimed in the source material are pretty profound. Dark energy is mathematically matched to a function equaling the natural log of 2. Dark matter is predicted as an axonoparticle at exactly 6.953 kilo-electron volts, and the resulting X-ray emission signals align almost perfectly with real-world 3.5 keV astronomical observations. Literally everything loops right back to those mathematical anchor constants we established at the beginning.
So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought. If Clifford algebra, topology, and knot theory govern absolutely everything, from the mass of a tiny electron to the great attractor at the edge of the universe, are we simply living inside a single, infinite equation? Synthesizing all three versions of this theory reveals an awe-inspiring framework that really challenges our view of reality. I hope this explainer leaves you hungry to explore more of these incredible concepts.